Any PhD can be the toughest PhD in the world if you do not choose your PhD supervisor or topic carefully. Now, any PhD has its struggles, and if you don't like the subject, if your supervisor is causing you a load of pain and hassle, your PhD can easily go from one of the best PhDs in the world to the toughest PhD in the world. And I'm pretty sure that every PhD student at some point has thought, oh my God, this PhD is just so tough, it's not worth it, and that makes it, for them, the toughest PhD in the world. Now, there are a few things that make PhDs tougher than others, and in this video, I feel like I have found the toughest PhD in the world for the majority of people. Okay, this is mental. But ultimately, a PhD where you have to kind of find a definitive outcome, often found in the hard sciences, in engineering, are the toughest types of PhD around. For example, my chemistry PhD required me to make a solar cell, a working solar cell, from water dispersions, from aqueous dispersions of conducting polymers. If I didn't get a working solar cell, my PhD would have been a massive fail. So, I'm not saying that my PhD was the toughest in the world, but that's an example of a definitive outcome that needs to happen to secure a PhD that can make it incredibly tough. You are fighting essentially the rules of the world as they're known at that time. Water destroyed solar cells, and I was using it to make a solar cell. No, that was tough, but I have found an even tougher one. This video is brought to you by my newsletter. Go check it out at andrewstapleton.com.au/newsletter. The link is in the description, and when you sign up, you'll get 5 emails over about 2 weeks. Everything from the tools I use, how to write the perfect abstract, the podcasts I've been on, my TEDx talk, and more. It's exclusive content available for free, so go sign up now. Alright then, I think I have found a PhD that would torture the majority of people, and it is the MD PhD, where you combine a PhD with getting a medical degree. It's often found in the United States. There are a ton of institutions that offer it, but it is one of the toughest, I think, PhDs to do in the world, because the requirements to get in are insane. It's really competitive. And then while you're doing it, the length of the PhD and the medical degree that you sort of like intertwine throughout the 7 or 8 years that you're actually doing this qualification is just mind-boggling. So let's jump over and have a look at some of the application requirements. So I found that in fact, strong applicants already have a specific background that includes research. They should have about 3 years of working in a research lab before even applying for this. That's insane. Like, you got to do 3 years in a lab environment before you're even considered a strong candidate for getting into this PhD qualification. Okay, this is mental. Some of them already have published research articles or have presented their research at national meetings. Now, this is telling me that you need essentially the outcome of a PhD or good research at very least to get into this PhD program. That's just crazy to me. I don't know why anyone in their right mind would, after spending all this time in research, go, you know what? I'm going to do my medical degree and I'll upgrade this to a PhD at the same time. One of the things that's amazing to me about this degree is that it is in fact so competitive that some institutions only accept 2 students per year. So imagine having to be at the top of your class, having to have research experience, to be a strong candidate, have to have research published in peer-reviewed journals, or taken your research to an international meeting/conference, and then applying for 2 positions. So once you're into the program, it kind of looks like this. You've got 2 years of medical school. Okay, not too bad, standard. But what age are you doing this if you need research qualification before you even go into this? Like 2 years of medical school after doing research in a lab is probably a little bit of a break away from research. You're passing exams, something that a lot of PhD students are actually very good at. So you're flexing your exam muscles, you're learning, you're spilling it out in an exam. Okay, but then you go on to 3 to 5 years of a PhD. 3 to 5 years of a PhD. I did my PhD in 3 years. Now, it could take a couple more years because things may not work, because things always go wrong in a PhD, and you may then not have, it's mind-blowing. So the thing that I'm so annoyed by this that I'm getting all tongue-tied. So this is insane to me. And then after that, you've got another 2 years of clinical rotation, where I assume you go into a hospital and then you, do all the different kind of areas of medicine, and then, you become a doctor, an MD, PhD. It's insane. I don't know why anyone would choose to do this. You would have to be a bit of a sadist, I think. But I found someone online. What it's like to do an MD, PhD program. All right, let's have a look. So, Catherine Spina, let's take a look at what you say. So why did you pursue? Well, because, I really don't like myself very much. But no, of course they can't say that. My curiosity for understanding the whys and hows underlying the biomedical solutions designed to prevent and treat disease led me to explore the laboratory as an undergraduate. I found that combining the immediate gratification of caring for patients with the potential long-term implications of conducting biomedical research satisfies my curiosity and fulfills my strong desire to care for people. Now that sounds like a perfect thing to put in an application, but does she really think it? I'm being interviewed for the university, so I got to put my best foot forward. But inside, she regretting her decision? I'm not sure. This is another fun bit that I like. What advice would you give to students considering an MD, PhD program? They're not only rigorous, but also very long. Yes, 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 they are. If the choice is made to pursue the dual degree program, be prepared to immerse yourselves and not feel overly rushed. Good advice, but this is going to consume your life for like up to 9 years. But don't feel rushed, because, death is only around the corner, so might as well spend it doing this. Over the course of 7 to 9 years, you will experience many highs and lows. Wow, yes, of course you will. I can see why this would be a journey that would have extreme lows and extreme highs over 9 years. The time that it takes isn't even like, it's not even like these are people that have blown out and done wrong. Like the process takes 7 to 9 years. I've known people do their PhD for 10 years, but that was like such an outlier that it became a funny story to tell to people or a warning to tell to people. But this is the actual process. Who would sign up for this? Now that, I think, is the toughest PhD that you can probably find right now. But what are the realities of doing a PhD? Not everyone's going to do an MD PhD. The reality is the toughest PhDs in the world can be your PhD when your supervisor sucks. If you've got a bad supervisor, your PhD can be the toughest in the world. A bad supervisor equals a bad and hard PhD, no doubt. Go check out my other videos about supervisors that will talk you through what to look for in a bad supervisor. Another thing is if the PhD topic or question is impossible. Now, when you are proposing your own PhD topic or question, it should be thoroughly looked at and tested by experts in the field to let you know if at least it is possible or feasible. A lot of the time, PhDs are actually sort of initiated by supervisors looking for PhD students to come onto the topic. In that case, like that was my case, you would hope that the PhD supervisors have done enough to ensure that this PhD is at least possible in the smallest sense. Like my PhD was very ambitious, but it had lots of opportunities and avenues for success that I could report about within 3 years. And that was very important. If you've not done your due diligence beforehand, your PhD can become very, very tough. If you do not like the subject, you will hate your PhD. Now, for me, I did chemistry because I liked chemistry. I liked science and I liked chemistry the most. Therefore, I was like, I'll just do this. And I think as well, it was a little bit of kind of Stockholm syndrome where I was like, oh my God, I'm trapped in this chemistry bubble. I might as well love it and carry on and do it. And that's where I ended up. But I would hate to do a mathematical PhD, even one that, I dipped my toe, my little pinky toe, into the physics world, and that was more than enough. I would have not enjoyed, and I would have found it incredibly tough to do an actual physics PhD. So if you do not like the subject, you will not be able to do it for the length of time required to get a PhD. And also, your PhD topic and subject, you will love and hate. You'll find it the best thing to wake up and do in the morning, and there will be times when it is the toughest topic and subject for you in the world, and that is part of the PhD process, is to push through. Look after yourself along the way. So there we have it. There's everything you need to know about what makes the toughest PhD in the world and what I think is probably the toughest PhD right now. Let me know in the comments what you would add to that. And if you have done an MD PhD, I want to hear from you. Let me know how it was in the comments. And also, go check out academiainsider.com. That's my project where I've got my 2 ebooks, the Ultimate Academic Writing Toolkit, as well as the PhD Survival Guide, which will help you make your PhD much easier, much faster, and hopefully you will get the most out of it after reading those ebooks. So go check them out. And also, I'll see you in the next video.